Hi, welcome to the Shelly Studio. Today I'm going to show you what I created. There is a tutorial afterwards. I'm not sure how helpful it is. That's why I'm just going to kind of walk through what I created. So doing ATCs a day for June, I decided to do like kind of mail art, at least have postage on there. And the plan was for this to become an ATC holder, but it got kind of annoying to make. You'll see why if you watch the tutorial after this. And I figured it would be way too huge, end up like this thick or something, if I tried to make this to hold 30 cards. So instead, this became my postage stamp holder, and I think it turned out really cute. This is just a homemade postage stamp from an art catalog, and that's what I decided to put on the front to decorate it. But I will show it to you, and then afterwards there's a video on how I created it. It doesn't show me putting the finishing touches on it, but you'll see everything. I'll explain. So it was going to be an accordion book. Now it's just a little booklet. I have a stamp, needs to go in there, so that's why I have that there. So you open it up and it unfolds like this. So this first section, I decided I had a lot of stamp stickers, and so I glued some wax paper on these pages to accommodate the stickers. And I'll just show you, they're just stuck on wax paper. You can peel them off, they're still sticky, and stick them back down. Now I used Fabri-Tac, and it's not working very well. I've patched a few spots with Elmer's. Not sure that it's going to work very well either. Anybody knows what will stick to wax paper? Hold it on there, let me know. I guess if I had a sewing machine, I could sew around the edges, kind of help hold it down, but my sewing machine's malfunctioning at the moment, so until I can afford to get it repaired, it's just gonna, I'm sewing machine-less. How's that? Alright, so I just have all my sticker stamps on these pages, and then you kind of flip it open, and open, and then there's all my postage stamps. So I'm just gonna tuck that one in because it's all kind of full. I do have space. I could make another row right here if I wanted to. So my homemade stickers are a little bit obviously bigger and thicker, and then these are photocopies, and yeah, some homemade, and these are the real ones are over here. But I've photocopied my mom's collection of stamps because they're really cool vintage ones, and I want to be able to use them over and over again, so that's what I did. It's for my own personal use. I don't think that's illegal. But I just put a little strip along here. It's what's called a tension pocket, but it's not very big. If I was going to do this again, I'd make this a little bit taller, just to make sure those stamps stay in, because I feel like I have to push them to hold them in. But anyways, this is what I created. Hopefully you can see the whole thing. It does kind of take up my whole table. But I just love how it turned out. I think it's really cute. The tutorial is not very helpful, like I said, but it would be a really simple project. I used the 6x6 scrapbook paper, so I had to kind of manipulate to make it long enough, whatever. And these are only, yeah, that's what I was thinking. They're 4x4 square, and then you can see here I put a little tab here and a tab down here so that you could attach the next pages. And this one just is just the 4x4 glued on there. This one has a tab at the top and at the right, so it can go there. The 4x4 can go there. You could do this where they're all on the same side. You don't have to be all zigzaggy like I did. I debated how I wanted it, but yeah, it's fun. Anyway, alright, so there's my little project. I hope you liked it. If you're interested in watching how I created it, you can watch the Hot Mess tutorial. That's next. Alright, so here are the papers I plan on using. And yes, there's a lot of them because originally this was going to become my ATC holder. And you can kind of see the drawing up there in the top left of the screen. But that goes by the wayside after I do a couple of these and decide that was just way too much work. I'd rather use like a long sheet of paper rather than these small ones that I have to piecemeal together. So I don't have a scoreboard, so at 4 inches I scored using my paper cutter and then cut, gosh, do I remember? I think it was a 1/2 inch. Yeah, it was 1/2 inch edge so that my page right here is actually 4.5 by 4.5, and then I'm just going to cut out that corner, and then those will be the tabs to connect to the other pages. So I do several of those, and my measuring is kind of haphazard. So if you want to create this, just decide for yourself what size you want it. Leave enough space if you have score tape, like this double-sided tape, which is how I'm going to attach these. Just have enough space for that to go in there and be glued. Now I have my double-sided tape taped onto some white cardstock, and then I'm using that in between. So that creates a tension pocket. And if you want to see a better explanation of the tension pocket, I believe I have a tutorial from last year on how I made my ATC keepers, and they were all created with tension pockets. So I think I have a better description of how to create a tension pocket. This one is too small. It ends up being too small for the ATC to actually be held, and it works okay for the stamps. So see how it's holding it there? Whoop. Took it in there and it sticks. So I was thinking I was okay, but it's really not quite big enough. It should have been a little bit bigger. So now I'm deciding where that one's going to go, and I'm scoring it and then moving it over 1/2 inch and cutting and doing the same thing, only this time I want to make sure that tab is to the right. So I flipped my paper around. I'm going to score at 4 inches and then at 4.5. Well, I think I messed up my scoring. Oh, actually I remember now. What I did was I scored it twice to create a little bit of depth, because this particular spot I was thinking would be the center fold. So I was giving it a, do you call that a gusset? Anyway, a little bit of a spine, I guess. So I wanted the extra, so I actually fold it on both score marks is what I did there. Finished piece, you can't even tell. In fact, it does have a little bit of a gap there. So yeah, that was just to give it a little bit of a spine, because that ends up being the center piece, so that it will fold a little bit more flat. Maybe I'll insert, or I'll show a photo close up at the end. You'll see the gap in between. You might notice it as we go along. Alright, so then I'm just attaching another tension pocket tab thing as I put the pages together. And that one's just going to go right over the top of that. See, here's where you need a gridded background to set these on, to square them up, to make sure they end up straight. Sure, they were all cut straight on a paper cutter, but if you mess up just a little bit, the alignment kind of messes up. And every connection I made, I put that tension pocket, so I know in the end I put rows for the stamps, but I could also tuck something into the sides there where I connected them if I really wanted to. And again, that one's just the 4x4, I believe, and that's just going to be attached to the top. I just use a bone folder to make sure that's nice and stuck down, so it's not going to go anywhere. It's taking a little bit to get that off of there. There we go. If you used like a liquid glue, it would give you more time to get that straight. Like the minute you stick your paper down on that score tape, it's stuck, and if you lift it up, it's torn. So you can see here, it's catching a little bit right on that corner. I did go ahead and trim that edge off. I must not have kept the footage or recorded that. But I'm going to attach a couple more flaps, and I don't know if you need to watch the whole thing. Have you got the idea? Hopefully it's making sense. But again, 4 inches, score, 1/2 inch cut. And then I fold both of those. I have my little corner that I cut out. And that's pretty much the technique. Wherever you want to add a flap, just have the tab or add the next page. Hopefully that gave you the general idea. Here I am sticking the last flap on, and maybe I show you here. You can see that last flap does not line up properly, so I'm just going to draw the line, and can't remember if I paper trim it off or if I cut it with my scissors. Yeah, just the scissors. Just grab that last little bit. Looks like I'm making a big cut across there, but I was just getting down on my scissors because it was thicker. Alright, so now it should all fold. Oh, see there, you could see the little bit of the little spine I made. So now, since the whole outside of this is blank, I decided to pull out some other papers. Now these ones, when I bought them, you buy them online, If you don't read carefully, you don't know what you're getting. But I kind of like it. They are really thin. They're actually thin origami paper. I don't know who would use like vintage paper as an origami, but they work great for this. And I'm just going to use glue stick, because if I used Mod Podge or any kind of wet medium, I'd end up with ripples and warping of the paper, and I didn't really want that. So I figured glue stick would work well enough. The Yoo-Hoo works pretty good. I think I've used about all my Yoo-Hoo glue between this project and my ATCs for June. So before it's dry, I am putting the fold in it, because there is a space, and if you let it dry hard without folding it, then you could possibly crack or tear that paper. I know that's been my experience. And a lot of times when I'm making these books, when you make your own book, like when I make my own book, I want to flip the pages. I'm like, flip, flip, flip. Especially when I make something that flips, like this one. I'm flipping it open and flipping it back, and just because it's fun, because you're like, I made this, I want to flip it around. I tend to wear them out really fast. So like in my, I believe my ATC keepers from last year, I flipped them so much, I ended up putting packing tape over every fold. I've not done that with this one, and I have flipped it quite a bit because it's fun to flip, and it seems to be holding up okay. I don't see any cracks so far. Oh, I'm looking at it right now. Ooh, I see one. Maybe I'll just put some glue on it or something. But I go through and just use all these vintage looking papers and cover the entire back, and I do the fold on every single one as I'm gluing, just to make sure that it will fold in the end. Alright, so there it is, all glued up and all lined up, and there we have it. So I don't think I show you gluing any of the little pockets in for my, see there, I'm going to fix that. Get rid of the misaligned stuff. Anyways, the little pockets, but it's just basically a strip of the decorative cardstock along with the little tension pocket tab, and that be it. I hope you liked this. If you did, please let me know. Leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and as always, if you'd like to see more from me, please subscribe. Oh, and I will be showing a video of my final ATC keeper for this year. If I've already published it, I will put a link either in an iCard or in the description box below, so you can check out what I end up doing there. And yeah, if I haven't yet, watch out for that. It'll be coming soon. Oh yes, and I decided to run just a little bit of ink around the edges, kind of hide or reduce that bright white that is on the edge of everything. Just makes it a little bit nicer looking. Alright, so here's a few photos. I hope you liked it. Thank you all for watching.